On this episode of Travels with Bill, we're at a house fire. We're here to see how it's put out, but more importantly to learn the history of what's going on here, because this isn't just any house, and this isn't just any video. So stick around, I'll tell you the story of what we're seeing. So this video is being filmed early in the morning on June 16th, 2023. That's important because if you go back in history into the last days of May, this is the exact same house where someone was found murdered in Swan River. She was 29 years old. At the time of making this episode, we don't yet know the outcome of the court case for the people who were charged for that murder. What we do know, though, is a couple weeks later, on my way to work, this was on fire. Now, the video starts when the fire department's already here, but that's not actually when we arrived. We got here as one of the first couple people to get here because I saw the smoke on my way to work. So I came this way to see what was causing the smoke and found the house fire. So why didn't I start filming right away? Well, there was some stuff we had to do first. The house was empty. Neighbors say there was nobody living there since the murder. But what about the house next door, that gray one? Well, there was somebody asleep in there. In fact, there was a vehicle parked there too, right beside the fire. So first the bystanders and I had to wake her up, get that vehicle out of the way, and then the fire department was already arriving. That's when I grabbed the camera and started filming. This video's had over 250,000 views on Facebook. We posted it on our news site before such time as Facebook banned news. It had a lot of comments too from armchair quarterbacks across North America and in fact the world. Now, some people saying what a great job the fire department did, others saying they're actually looking like they're a little bit slow here. So I want to paint a picture of why maybe you're thinking they're a little bit slow. So first of all, fires always feel faster than they really are. When you're there and you have the adrenaline of it, it feels like you're waiting forever for the fire department to arrive. But in reality, they got here pretty quick. Now, they are taking a little time to lay out the hoses, so we're about 2 minutes in from the time that first fire truck arrived, started dropping line, and got the firefighters ready. So if we keep watching, they've already got that first line charged, and the first water is going on right now. So we're 2 minutes and 9 seconds since the time they arrived on scene. Is that good or is that bad? Well, I know I wouldn't be able to get water on the fire within 2 minutes and 9 seconds of pulling up on scene, and they managed it. The second hose is charging already now too, so we're going to have the second stream of water on it in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There they go. I've been to way too many of these, both fires and accidents, and it always feels at the moment when you're there like it's taking forever. But watching the video, I don't know, it doesn't seem that horribly bad to me. Swan River Fire Department's a paid-on-call fire department, so you have to remember, this time of morning, these guys were all asleep in bed. When that call came, they got out of bed, they drove to the fire hall, got dressed, got in the fire truck, drove here, and then put the fire out. I can tell you that fire was plenty hot, too. It wasn't this big when I was driving that vehicle out of the driveway, but it was still incredibly warm to get in. Certainly wouldn't want to have been any closer to it than I was. So, what else is at play here? I mentioned this house was the scene of a murder. Does that have anything to do with why it was burned? Well, certainly you'd think it was burned an hour after the murder, it would be to hide evidence, but the police had been here, they got all their evidence, the charges were already laid at this point, so there wasn't much more to be gained from being inside the house or from burning it. So if you think the coincidence of it burning a couple weeks after a murder is, well, too good to be true, I would think it probably is. But what is the point of burning the house that long after? I was talking to some folks about that have experience with this, and they told me that it's actually pretty common, especially with some religions, that the thought is if someone's been murdered in a house, you need to burn it down, because there's no point anyone living there again, and the spirit might be stuck there. So in some places at least, they would burn the house as part of the process of the family healing, to make sure the loved one's not still stuck in that house forever and be released back to the Creator. So a couple things while we're watching to remember, of course, make sure you have a plan with your kids through fire. They spread so incredibly quickly. This one wasn't burning too terribly long, and even though the crews got there quick, had there been anybody inside, it would be hard to think they'd be coming out okay. So having that plan ahead at the first sign of smoke to get out of the house makes a huge difference. It doesn't really matter where they go as long as they're outside. Just get them to go to the sidewalk so you can get out there, find them, and get them someplace safer. But what if they're sleeping? At this time of morning, certainly they would be sleeping. That's where fire alarms are so important too. Without a fire alarm in the house, it's often too late to wake up. You've had too much smoke and you end up passing away. Having a working fire alarm makes sure something's always watching for that first hint of smoke. That gives you time to get out and be safe. It sucks to lose a house, but it's so much better to just lose the house than to also lose a loved one. Well, that's our look at what happened on my way to work one morning and how the Swan River Fire Department got the fire out, I think, pretty quickly. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've got lots more to show you, not only from when I drive to work, but all the other interesting places I end up being. For now, at least, we'll let the firefighters cool this off the rest of the way, then they can pack up the truck and end up at their day job. That's what volunteer fire department is all about. We'll see you on the next episode of Travels with Bill.